asana and I got talk asana. How much more fun can I be having? I guess we'll see. All right. Oh, I think we did it. I think we went live on Facebook, everyone. Okay. Aloha and welcome to Wisdom Dialogues with Hope Johnson, coming to you from Hawaiian Paradise Park, where me and Anne both live. Yay! We're so stoked on the beautiful big island of Hawaii. Yes. Yes. And yeah, I don't know if you know, a lot of you know, I went on a journey to the mainland with my 14-year-old son, and I visited my daughter and her fiance now. It's not her boyfriend anymore. It's her fiance now. They may have gotten married because I got a text from my sister-in-law, Tina, and she said, is Akea married? And I know they were talking about getting married in Vegas, where it's really easy to get married. I guess you don't have to jump through a bunch of hoops there. So I know they were talking about that. So and then you know, just going to these different states. We went to Minneapolis, we went to Bullhead City, Arizona, where that's where we stayed for a week. No, maybe like 4 days. And then we went to Las Vegas, baby, and we stayed in a casino hotel. So we had all kinds of different amazing, awakening, fun, full experiences. And it was so beautiful. One of the lessons that was coming to me really clear when I was in Las Vegas, especially, was the one about concern. See, concern is always of the ego. In fact, so is confusion. Like if you seem to be confused about something, also that is of the ego. You're not confused, you are certain. Okay, so when you don't know that you're certain, or you don't know that there's nothing to fear, basically concern is fear. Okay, when you don't know that, then it seems like these things are real and you're actually capable of having concern about something. You know, in your right mind, you don't care about this world. This world is only for awakening you to what's true. Now, the ego is going to throw out, oh my gosh, that is so scary. How can you say that this world is meaningless? You know, wouldn't that mean that you're just going to like fuck everything up and be like whatever? You know, it's not really like that. It's more like it's, you know, I've heard it called a training ground. And, you know, when I first heard that, it really triggered me, you know, and I was like, oh no, it's a training ground. No, what would it be training for? But it's like, it's teaching you, like everything is teaching your mind what's not you. It's not you. Whatever is not you. Okay, so this sense of separation, any kind of fear that comes up, they're always like coming in waves. So I'm walking through a casino and I noticed this wave of concern. I don't have a clue right now what it was even about, but there's a wave of concern arising, and then just noticing it as that. That's what it is. See, when it's not noticed as what it is, then it's taken as if the concern is true. And you might try to resist the concern, like resist thinking about it, resist feeling it, something like that. Or, you know, you might not even recognize that it's going on, and you're being very permissive with those thoughts by pursuing them until you just feel like crap. You know, so I noticed that, like, as I was walking through a casino, we were leaving the casino as this occurred, right? And then I just felt this burden drop from me. You know, it's like this wave comes with a burden. It's like an attempt to put a burden on you. And I felt the weight of it, the weight of the concern, and then I felt myself be released from it. You know, it's just a way of seeing that allows the release to occur. Okay. So my daughter stopped and she started talking to someone in the casino. I looked over and I saw a machine, like a slot machine. And I go, I just want to pull the handle on that slot machine. It looks fun, right? Whatever. So I take a 20 spot, put it in the machine, and I pull one time and it hits 3,000 bucks. You know, and it's just like, and it's like immediately when that occurs, I go, okay, what is the lesson in this? You know, that's how it is. It's always like, what is the lesson in this? It doesn't really matter. The $3,000 doesn't really make any difference as far as anything, because the world doesn't matter, right? The world really doesn't matter. So it's like, what is the lesson in this? And it was immediately shown to me how much people are going through that concern thing, and how helpful it is to allow ourselves to be released from it, to just be released from that, you know, like this sense of worry, concern. Now, it's very possible that that wave of energy was trying to project some kind of concern about money onto me, because that is very common for me. That's something that goes on all the time. I'm always getting the perception that everything's about to go to shit. It's been like that though for like 20 years. So it's like, okay, all the evidence is there, like it always is, that everything's going to go to shit. It's just that at this point, I don't mind, right? For the most part. But there's still a part that minds, and that's the part that's being purified through experience. It's just being purified through experience. Like I get the perception, holy shit, they're coming after me, you know, finance wise. Holy shit, they're coming after me. And then immediately I'll notice what the thought, you know, where it's coming from, what it is. And I just don't have to pursue it. And just in being released in that moment, you know, that's something that was definitely a process for me to even see it as it is, because I would always take it as real and use it to attack myself and be like really hard on myself. So it's like I've never seen it with, you know, so much evidence that things are going terrible for me financially, but at the same time, having such a sense of release, right? And it's more release than ever. It's actually more release than ever. And you know, I've talked for years about how I feel like it's my, like it's in my repertoire, healing repertoire, to heal that money thing, like just making it meaningful the way it's always made meaningful in our lives. And, you know, I watch it and I feel it, you know, I feel what these things feel like when we account for anything, when we talk about prices. I know, I notice myself, I'll talk about a price and I'll notice it and I'll be like, there's no, that's not relevant. You know, us talking about prices as if they're real, as if they're reality, as if they mean something, make it mean something. We have trained ourselves to believe that we get what we get because of money. Either the money we make the money, or someone else gives us the money, or something like that. We have trained ourselves to believe it, and that's why it looks like that. And it's a very hardwired belief, because look how strong this is. You know, when I talk about stuff like that, it's hard for people to get, you know, get into it like that. They're like, yeah, but you still have to. Actually, you don't have to anything, because it's all taken care of by love. And when you believe that it's not taken care of by love, that it's up to you, then you perceive it as if that's the case. Okay, I just realized my chat here on Zoom. I don't have Lori to tell me this. Attendees can chat with everyone. Okay, I just opened up the chat on Zoom, you guys. And you can also raise your hand if you want to talk with me, okay? For my Facebook peeps, I check you guys out too, every now and then to see if you made any comments. So yeah, concern is fear. It seems like it's normal to just be concerned about things, right? And I see how the mind wants to take me on a whole trip. Like I already have seen, okay, these particular bills, they can't be paid by the company that owns them. Okay. These bills can't be paid by the company that owns them. Okay, that's fine. I run some different companies, right? So, the mind will pop up and want me to think about it more. And it's like, that's exhausting. Who needs to do that? That's the thing. And it's just like, oh, not me. That has nothing to do with me. Things are going to go the way they go. I'll know what to do in the moment. I'll know exactly what to do in the moment. You know why? Because I'll just get a perception of myself doing it. Right? That's how I know. It's only the action only comes out of who I'm choosing to be my guide. Either it's the ego's trying to figure shit out. The ego's trying to save this body. What will this body do? Well, what will this body do if there's not money every month to buy Gaia clothing to make it look like it's, I don't know, make it look awesome. Thank you, Anne. What will I do if I don't have my $50 a month block therapy membership? It's just like really funny, the things that come up, and then it's like trying to figure something out, and that's what I mean is not relevant. Those kinds of thoughts are not relevant. There's no need to follow those. I can have relief in the moment. I just let myself be released. It takes a certain amount of focus, you can say, because especially in the beginning, because we're so pulled off course all the time. So, I just let people know, hey, in the beginning, take it real easy. Start out with looking at one thing. Like you notice one thing, maybe you notice one tendency of yours that you have. Maybe you have a tendency to say a certain word more often than other words. And, you can just make it fun. It's not like that word, saying that word a lot is a bad thing or anything, but it just like reminds you to tune back in, whatever it is. It could be pinching yourself. It could be noticing your feet. That's a really good one. There's something about noticing your feet that really tunes you back in, like, because you'll be holding your feet in certain patterns depending on what you're thinking. And, it goes along with the breathing and everything. You can see how your feet are positioned, like if you're on the ground or even you're sitting in a chair. Notice how it feels at the soles of your feet. And, it's like really that simple. Hope, do I need to do anything else? No, not really, unless you feel like you're guided to, but it's like all about having fun too. You see, your natural way of being is joyful and fun and happy. I saw one post on Facebook by one friend of mine, and really talking about how it's not about being happy or something like that, or happiness doesn't matter. Your happiness is the only thing that matters. Your happiness, you could say your happiness is God's will. And if you're not in a state of happiness or great contentment in the moment, you have listened to the ego. It means you listened to the ego. See how concern will take you out of happiness? How could you be happy and concerned at the same time? Right? So the sense of concern arises either from a perception that you seem to be having in the world, or perception of thought, right? A perception of thought. Oh no, doom and gloom. How are you going to make it, or whatever? It's so funny because the patterns they're passed down through generations. You can see them being passed down through generations. And I look at my family, and it's so cute. Everyone thinks they're poor right now. It is so freaking funny. It's like I show up and everyone thinks they're poor. I'm like, that is fucking awesome. It's like it's like this energy that is just it's like it's shared, but it's not really shared, because you can't really share deception. You can't really share it. We're deceiving ourselves. But it's like we are on interesting thought patterns and sharing on certain thought patterns, and kind of like holding the same space, the same energy, the same kind of energy. So yeah, I had a really fun experience over there, because everyone's like, they're poor, so they can't go out to eat or anything, and then they're also old, so they can't cook. But they did cook the first night, and boy did they wipe themselves out doing that. And so we had 3 nights there, and so I go, hey, how about if I take you guys out to dinner then? If you guys are all poor and everything, right? And they're like, well, aren't you poor too? And I was like, well, I'm rich in spirit, so let's go. I got the faith for it. So yeah, so we went out and had a steak dinner somewhere, and my aunt tried to. She wanted to have a separate check and pay for hers, and I was like, well, I would love to pay for yours. And she's like, oh, okay. And, just like, it's comfortable. It's okay. This sense like I'm going to lose if I pay, or I'm going to gain if you pay. I mean, don't get me wrong. If you want to pay, I'll let you pay. That's fine. We've had that occur too on the trip. But it's like when there's this sense of, oh, I don't want to be an imposition. That was a kind of like the sense I got with my aunt, like, oh, I don't want to be an imposition, or I don't want to take from you. You know what I mean? I'm like, hey, aunt, I want to share with you. I love you. I'm so happy that you're here with me. And, just like, when you don't have that thing with the money, it's just like so much more comfortable and so much more just like embracing of everything. And, there's such a nice saying in Hawaiian that I like. It's not in Hawaiian, but it's a Hawaiian thing. And it's just like, if can, if no can, no can. It's like so simple, because it's not like you have to figure anything out, Is it there for you? It's like this, really. You don't have any money. Like when you have a wallet and you think you have money in it, or you think you have a credit card in it or something like that, you don't really have those things like that. When you go for your money or you go for your wallet, what you're really doing is projecting money. You're projecting a wallet. You're projecting a wallet with money in it in that instant. It's like kind of like, why do you need a wallet in the first place, right? And that's just self-doubt that makes us even think we need the wallet to carry it around, that it's just not right there as soon as we need it, right? And it's just we make it like it's so concrete, and it's not concrete. We just make it like that. So the next night, everyone wants to hang out, so we go hang out at my aunt's house where it's bitchin'. She's got a bar. It's a total drinking culture. Okay, my family, they're Italian, so they definitely have wine with meals. I'm the same way like that. If I'm eating a rich meal, I love to have a glass of red wine with it. And then the dudes, namely my two stepdads, because both of my mom's husband currently and the husband that I grew up with, they're always hanging out together. And the husband that I grew up with, my mom's husband, I grew up with, has a wife too, and she just happens to be my cousin. So it's like all intertwined like this, and interesting. So there's like, the dudes are like drinking hard alcohol and stuff at the bar, and the women are just like talking and having cocktails and stuff. And there's no food, and there's no food there. And they had told me a couple nights ago how they're old and they don't want to be cooking any food. So that night, what they offered to do was heat up the food from 2 nights ago. And I knew Braun was number one, probably not going to go for that. And I was like, well, how about if we just order like Uber and just order a bunch of food? Everyone starts acting all poor again, right? Oh no, we don't dare, dude. No, oh no. And I'm like, all right, how about this? How about I just pay for all the food? And everyone's like, you would do that? And everyone's thinking that I'm just like so rich, right? How about you guys? How about if I just pay for all the food? Oh yeah, oh okay. And a couple of them were like, oh no, Hope, we really can't. I go, well, I want you guys to hang out with us. Everyone's hungry, and let's all just have a time. I'm on vacation. Let's freaking party. You guys order some food. So we just ordered a bunch of food. And I found myself telling my mom, because I knew my mom would get this. My mom gets a lot of what I'm sharing here. And I whispered in her ear, and I go, as long as you guys want to act like you're poor, I'm just going to pay for the food for as long as we're here so we can hang out. Cause it's like, who's going to be cooking the food? You know, it's like, or something else comes up, whatever. And my mom, all of a sudden I felt it. It was there was an energy. My mom like goes, wait a minute. I don't want to act poor. I want to help you. I want to help you with this thing, you know? And I was like, and I just, you know, I felt it and I go, well, the thing is, you know, and my mom gets this too. Do you have the faith for it? Because if you don't have the faith for it, that's tempting the ego. That's a different thing. Do you have the faith for it? Is, are you okay with the perceptions that may be coming about how fucking broke you are after that? Right? It's like, are you okay with those perceptions that may be coming? Because it's like the perceptions come up. What are they for? If you know what they're for, you're fine. If you know what they're for, you're totally fine. You know, the perceptions just present them like, oh no, worry, concern. And the interesting thing about worry and concern is they close down your receptivity to the flow that seems to be coming in the world, right? Because the world, you know, it's like God has all power over the world. That's why in reality, you know, it's like you have the power to just manifest whatever you need in your hand in that moment. And you do. You actually do. You just have to have a certain process. You set up a certain process, like you've got a wallet, you worked for it, all this other different stuff about how you have the money there and stuff like that. But that all that stuff isn't really necessary and it's actually not meaningful. It's really just an instant manifestation. The whole thing is, right? That's why I've talked a lot about, you know, when you're trying to manifest something in particular, when you're trying to manifest, like you make it that you have to manifest that thing, you don't actually know what you want. It's instant manifestation. You always have what you need. You think you did it. You got the money there. You remembered your wallet, right? You bought yourself a wallet in the first place, whatever it is. But it's not like that at all. It's only an instant manifestation. Notice, you know, at some points you lose your wallet. Apparently you lost your wallet. At that point, it's not maximally healing for you to seem to have access to that stuff. It's really fun. When I got the perception, I was on the mainland at one of these times, maybe it was 2018, I think it was. I showed up and my license expired. So I had no license for the trip, like at the beginning of the trip. It was like a 2-week trip. And it's like instantly I just knew that that was maximally beneficial, that I didn't have my license. Like, ooh, how's the adventure going to go then? You know, so I don't have to be afraid of losing things constantly, you know, on top of myself about you have to get this right or have to get anything right. You know, if I get like an order wrong, you know, for instance, we were drinking a shitload of water while we were gone on vacation. I think we do all the time. I think we're big water drinking people, but we don't really notice it because we got our own filter, right? When we're on vacation, we're getting glass bottles and we are stacking those things up. Well, I'm ordering 10 big glass bottles of water at a time for me and Braun, and usually they're coming like every couple days. Well, one of them I ordered sparkling water instead, and neither of us wanted to drink it, so we just like gave all the sparkling water away. You see stuff like that and it's nothing, it's really nothing, but the mind makes it something. The mind wants to make it something, right? And everything is for healing, so it's all maximally healing. So it's maximally healing that there seems to be a mistake and I seem to have sparkling water, right? And it's so funny on DoorDash and those guys too. You just go, man, I didn't want sparkling water. They just give you your money back. It's so funny. Was everything okay? Yes, except I didn't want sparkling water, even though I clearly ordered sparkling water. Like, oh, we'll just give you your money back. Oh, thanks. And keep the sparkling water too. Which I was like, can you guys come back and get it? We have to clean this place out. No, it was fine. Someone wanted the sparkling water. It's just like, it all works out. Someone was like, fuck yeah, sparkling water. I love that. I had a porch in Minneapolis. I rented a duplex and it had a porch. Someone else could be on the top. I think there was someone there at sometimes because they'd be walking around. And the porch faced the street where I could see a lot of people walking around. There was a hospital, there was a bus stop, there was a bunch of those e-bikes where you could just like use a credit card and get on a bike and ride it and then park it at the next e-bike section or whatever they do. And you know, just like all different kinds of people. So my daughter's fiance, soon to be son-in-law, I don't know what to call that fucker. Let's just call him Kana. So he tells me, oh, that's where you're staying. Like before I get there, he goes, oh, that's where you're staying. That is such a ghetto. You know, and I'm like, and I'm like, oh, well, cool. I wanted to check out, you know, some Minnesota culture. That's freaking awesome. You know, the way I seem to have picked it is the closest one in proximity to them that was closest to what I wanted to stay in, basically. 2 bedrooms, one for me, one for Braun. And it's not in a hotel, so I can like make some stuff on the stove and stuff like that. So that's how I picked it. It didn't look that bitchin', right? It didn't look that bitchin' online even. I could tell it wasn't like swanky or anything. But yeah. So I stayed there and I loved it. I would be out on the porch in the middle of the night. I would be out there all different times, just watching the people and also smoking a spliff that my soon-to-be son-in-law Kana made for me. Yeah, I mean, immediately when he came, you know, I was telling you guys, I don't know if I'll be smoking spliffs over there on the mainland, right before I left. I'm not gonna like try to get them, okay? I'm not gonna be like making a big effort to get them. I'm like hanging out with my son and different stuff. So anyways, he goes, hey, do you want me to make you spliffs while you're here? I'm like, sure, you know. So I'd go out to the porch like after Braun would go to bed, or sometimes I'd be sitting out there with him too. Like in the middle of the night, even like if I'd be out there like 1 a.m. or something, and just watching the characters that go by. There's a bus stop, so there's people getting on the bus and off the bus, and people going into downtown, because downtown is, you know, cruising. People are partying downtown, and just watching all the different like postures. I love people watching and what they're doing. And, you know, one guy was changing in the bus stop, and Braun and I had kind of like a joke going because we're looking for the ghetto people, right? We're trying to pick out who's the ghetto people, and we're laughing at ourselves because we know we're making everything up. Like whatever we're making of them, we don't know them at all, right? We're just like looking at them and seeing who's the ghetto people in our minds. And then we were laughing because we're like, well, we haven't seen anyone smoke weed out here except for me, so I must be the most ghetto person out here. Yeah, it was really fun. Definitely a lot more blacks, lot more than like we're used to getting in Hawaii. We barely have any here really compared to the mainland. Oh my goodness. That definitely, it seemed like in Minneapolis, they were probably the majority of people. And the other thing is they're not all American blacks. I don't know what the percentage is, but most of the ones we met were Africans. They had an African accent, and they were just like a totally different culture. Like the color looks the same and the features look the same, but it is a completely opposite culture. It was really interesting to talk to some African. Actually, we got to talk to both. We got to talk to the ones that are from around there, and American blacks, and then also plenty of African blacks. And it was funny because the African blacks seem to be a wee bit racist toward the American blacks. They're like, those guys look like that and they're fucking the whole thing up. They look like us and they're fucking it all up. We got some really fun culture. We got some really fun perspectives. And, the whole time I have a little Brawny Bob with me. He's not really that little. He's actually bigger than me. And we're just learning stuff about all these different people. And it's like a melting pot there. It's kind of like that here, but but not so. I guess it's because there's so many people. Like they have this place called the Swedish Institute, right? And they're a bunch of Swedes, I guess. They sure did look like that when you go in there. Everyone looks so like they don't handle sun very well at all. And they've got like blonde hair, blue eyes, pretty much. And they were surprised that we were there, and they started to ask us, because they said they usually get Scandinavian. Is Scandinavian Swedish? I don't know. But they like we actually look kind of dark to be in there, Well, and more like Italian, whatever's. And they're like asking us, hey, what brings you, here to the, we don't usually see people like you. Like, what? That's so fun. Really interesting about the Swedish Institute. It's an art place, and it came from a castle that this dude built, this castle, and it's like really cool. It's got wood carvings all in it. It's like really intricate, beautiful mahoganies, original furniture that was there. He built it up and gave it, once his wife passed on, he didn't want it anymore. I guess he built it for them to live in. So he gave it to the Swedish Institute, and that actually started the Swedish Institute too. So, and then the rest of it, like before you get into the castle and even a little bit in the castle, there's all these posters of people. They're like big, like posters like this of people after they had their morning dip in Sweden. It's like a thing that they do every day. They get in really cold water, and even they take babies in there. And I'm just like, oh my God, like feeling like, and that's what they have, all these, because they like this culture. In fact, they have a live cam on the place inside of there where you just watch people coming for their morning dip. Everyone does it. And I thought that was like, wow. They go in the ocean in the morning where it's hella cold, and everyone, because it's like a tradition thing that people do. And it's so fun the way we're trained. It's like, maybe I wouldn't even think anything of it if I seem to be born in a place where they're just putting you in there in the cold water. You're a little baby and they're putting you in that cold water. It's like, oh, you just kind of like adapt to that shit, right? And it's like if you don't do it in that culture, you're weird. Like, you're supposed to do the morning dip. I'm sure it's invigorating. They had really good food there. Some of the best food. Swedish food, apparently. Who would have thought? And it was walking distance from where we were staying. It feels amazing afterwards. Okay. They just go in there all, this is gonna feel amazing later. No, I don't know. Maybe they jump in, they're like, cold water on a cold day. What do I know? We did Mall of America in a big way. We almost lived there. We were there so much. There was so much to do there. It was so amazing. There was roller coasters, miniature golf. We did all this stuff. Roller coasters, miniature golf, shopping. I took Braun shopping. Braun got like a whole new wardrobe. His eyes got open in a mainland mall, right? He didn't realize he liked shopping until he got into a mainland mall. Okay. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, I'll take that and that and that and that and that. We leave out of there with a big old bag like this. He was looking good. He walked in there, we're used to our son just not even caring at all about clothes, right? We'll be like, hey, is that a little tight? Could you use a new one? Sure. Want to help me pick one out for you? Sure. And do you want any more? Nah, I'm good. Goes to the mall. He starts seeing and feeling, and then he's like, yeah, I'll get a bunch of stuff. So he's looking awesome. And we went to Nordstrom. The guy took like an hour and a half to fit my son for shoes. It was such a trip because he was walking around. This guy's like a barefoot dude. He does not wear shoes usually. He didn't grow up wearing shoes. He's not a shoe guy. All of a sudden, you go to the mainland, you're wearing shoes all the time, right? And it's like, oh shit, I don't want to walk around that much. This isn't very comfortable. So we get there, find out he doesn't know the difference, right? His shoes are like a whole shoe size too small for him. We're like, those are going in the trash. And then we had to stay there for an hour and a half because he had to try on so many shoes before he found some because he's not used to wearing shoes that he thought that he could be somewhat comfortable in. And I was the exact same way. I start walking around and it's like, whoa, dude. Like if you're not barefoot, there's like these things start doing certain, I don't know. And then I see people walking around in heels. Whoa. I'm like, whoa. That's like a whole nother thing. That's like a whole other realm. That's like a whole other realm to me. Right? It's like there's a crippled person walking by. There's a crippled person walking by, and it seems like the whole thing is out of whack, like it's not functioning properly. And they're selling heels and stuff, and there's all these, it's like that's the thing to do, like walk around on a hard floor with heels. I'm like, oh my goodness. It's like we hide so much pain. I see this, how we hide so much pain. We bury so much pain within the body system. You know, it's like we put it, there's no body. It's projection. It's like this punishment. That's what I notice. That's like, it's like we need to put up with physically uncomfortable ways of being for a certain persona or view of ourselves or whatever. It's like, whoa, I can't even bring myself to do that. I walked into the mall. I had these really cute shoes on, right? They're flat shoes, but they're like hard. And I never realized because I didn't try to walk around in them very far yet. I got them recently, and I've been like to the post office or something like that with them. And they are cute. They were cute. So yeah. So I'm walking through the mall and I'm like, okay, a couple steps in the mall. These are flat shoes. I'm like, I need some shoes. I'm not going to wear these shoes. So I'm walking around. I don't see any shoes I want anywhere. And I was like, oh man, okay, I'm just gonna have to take these off and go barefoot. I get to the next store. I go, this store, I'm buying shoes in this store, or I'm leaving this store barefoot. I mean, when I took my shoes off, the way my feet were, they were like red, they're getting little blisters and stuff like that. This kind of stuff, this is not a not nice way to treat ourselves. This is like a not nice way. And it's like, wow, when I saw that, I was like, whoa. It's like immediately, what was I thinking? Because I must have been thinking something that's harmful to myself if I'm going to find myself walking through with some tight ass shoes. Maybe I don't have those kind of feet because I do walk barefoot a lot too, or I wear shoes that are wide. But these are made for people to wear. And you know, these are like $250 shoes that I'm wearing too. Like these are like a name brand, a really like well-known, well sought after pair of shoes. And I'm just like, wow, I'm amazed that anyone would wear these. And I just donated them because someone's going to want those guys, right? Anyways, they hooked me up with something really nice. I had a really fun connection with the two young guys there. They're probably like some guys in their 20s or stuff. They were hilarious. They were so much fun. They're like, yeah, I can't believe women want to wear heels. I mean, why are they even doing that? You know, and uncomfortable shoes. Why would you want to be in uncomfortable shoes? And I'm like, well, you know, it was equated with lesbianism like not that long ago. Do you remember that, Ann? Did you get a whiff of that? Maybe that was just in the cities in like Orange County where I'm from. But I remember it being, you know, are they lesbian or are they just women in comfortable shoes? Do you remember that? Yeah, sort of. Yeah. So it's like equated to, oh, like you're not as hot, you're not as you know, you're not as good, you're not as sexy. You can't be sexy unless you're wearing shoes that are uncomfortable. And you know, the way I was raised too by my mom, who by the way is 72 years old and still wearing heels, it does not look it does not look comfortable when she's walking. Like she's walking and I'm practicing forgiveness for the uncomfortable feeling that I'm getting by having a perception of her walking and totally sabotaging herself. That thing, it just looks like a whole bunch of pain. And, you know, that's just one example of how we're conditioned to put ourselves through it. You know, we just put ourselves through it. It's like this, and it has to do with like, what are you going to use this body for? Like, what are you going to use it for? To catch another body, right? Catch another body so you can kill it. Take everything you can from it and then leave it. Right? That's the trajectory of the ego. Oh, what do I want? Oh, what do I want this for? So I've had a perception lately, you know, I've been doing a lot of blocking. You guys know that, I think, if you know me. Oh my gosh, I'm changing all the time though. My daughter asked me, how long do you think blocking is going to be a thing? And I'm like, I have no idea. She's like, it could go away really fast. I'm like, yeah, it can, or it could be like Kundalini yoga that hung around for 11 years, right? So anyways, I've been doing all this blocking, and also I've been noticing like all this wrinkling come up, kind of like saggy skin and wrinkling. And, you know, I don't know if it's part of the process. I don't care. That's the thing. I don't care. And it, like, especially on the front of my arms, like I'll put my arm over like this. Seems to have gone away a little bit at the moment. But anyways, yeah, I know. It's so elusive. It's so freaking weird, Anne. So I'm getting this perception, and the thought starts going, oh my God, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? And you know what? Immediately it's like, what would I do anything for anyways? And you know, it's fun because it's kind of like comical when the ego arises, you know, it's like, oh my God, well, what if it keeps on getting worse? And the next thing you know, all the skin on your arms is just hanging like a drape, right? It's like draping down, and it drapes. I'm like, yeah, we'll do some of that. And you know, the thing is, when it comes down to what really snaps me, or let's say lets me use it in a fun and comical way, right? Because that's my thing. I like to just use everything in a fun, light, letting the laughter come, right? It's like, what would you need nice tone arms for? Like, what would you need that for? See, we don't need any of these things for anything. What would you use it for? You know, and it's like, look at what good is it? What good is it in the first place? That doesn't mean that doesn't mean you have less of a chance of developing nice tone arms. So think of it like that. The ego is telling you that. Look at having nice buoyant cells, right? That are being fed oxygen and life in your illusion and not being strangled off is natural for you. Okay. Perceiving something else is for healing. That's what it's actually for. So I'll be using the perception of the wrinkling for that. Just using it for that, to see through it. Not like hanging my head and getting all self-conscious about it. You know, I'll still wear my tops that are like, you know, showing off the arms and everything. And so what's going to happen? Someone might notice there's some wrinkling going on, and then what? And then what's going to happen? Who gives a shit? Also, it's completely and always in transition. See, the ego also sets it up for, It's only downhill from here. How can that be true? When time is an illusion, the body is an illusion. It's not only downhill from here. The downhill things that we perceive are just perceptions that are arising. The perceptions that are coming up are for one thing. What we want is to see through this world, but there's a fear of seeing through this world because there's this thought that it's just void after this. Like there's nothing but this world. So then there's this drive to try to make something of this world, to try to make ourselves into something in the world, whether it be something beautiful, something powerful, something successful, something abundant, just trying to make ourselves something in this world to make it worthwhile being here. But what makes it worthwhile being here is using the perception. So it's like, hooray, I get the perception of wrinkles. This is fun, you know, and sagging and stuff. And it's funny because it is so elusive. You know, it's great because when Anne's around, I can't get anything to look the way it looks when Anne's not around. She has a certain perception of me and she holds a certain space for me. She has this beautiful perception of me. So it's like, I can't even get the thing to, like, I'm trying to give an example and Anne's like, nope. And you're like, I'm like, you're right. Nope. We just make it all up as we go along anyways. Things aren't like they seem. They're very changeful. Got to hang out with some American Black dudes. Of course, they relayed to me that they would like to have sex with me, which I thought was sweet. I just think it's funny. You know, it's like, I'm always getting that kind of perception back, but it's in such a playful way, you know. It's like women out in the middle of the night. I'm sure it's like, what are you doing? Like, what do you want? What do you want here? Right? In the middle of the night. I guess what a lot of people want in the middle of the night is some sex. Seems to be. But everyone's real cool. I just let them know I'm not really into sex. I'm not a sex person. I don't even have to tell them I got a partner, nothing. I'm just not really into sex. You're not into sex? It's interesting. Yeah, it's not really into it. So then it's like everything's chill. We could just like have some fun. And they might be looking for some sex and they're really into that and they just go away and go look for some sex. But no, that didn't seem to be the case. I got to hang out around with a bunch of Black dudes. And they knew I wasn't into sex and they were okay. Akea was the same way. Well, she had her man there. And he's not a Black dude, but he definitely seems like one, except for he's super, super white. Like all the way so. So he's got a bunch of friends that are in the same kind of vibe. It's really a vibe more than it is a color. You just see that you see a certain color that's more prevalent, but it's really a vibe. It's a certain kind of culture, right? And having to love that culture, it's light and funny. These, you know, this culture is comical culture. They love to laugh and have fun and make jokes and be light. So on that one, you know, I was like having drinks. You know, sometimes it just occurs. I went out for some Italian food. I was eating Italian food till late, maybe like 10:30 at night. The best Italian food. This was in Minnesota. The best Italian food I ever had. I'm Italian. You know, my mom is 100% Italian. So I've had a lot of Italian food and this was the best Italian food. Akea, who's been to Italy more recently than I have, said that it's just right on par with Italian food. If you're around Minneapolis, it's called Italian Eatery. So check that out. It's totally awesome. Braun didn't want to go on that one, so it was just me and my daughter Akea, and just, having the most chill, fun, delicious time. We bring some food back to Braun. He's chill like that. He like eats in the middle of the night, whatever. He just finds it out there in the living room. So I bring it back. He's snoozing. We're like, let's hit downtown. So we go downtown I wanted to go downtown where all the big buildings are and where the people are usually getting on the bus are going down there. So we went down there, and it was like this college bar, lots of college people. One guy was in there like around my age, and of course we made eye contact right away, and then I just went over there and gave him a hug, and I told him to come over and hang out with us, and just having a fun time and running around different places in the middle of the night, meeting all kinds of cool people. Just fun, just having fun. I probably had many drinks, but I don't even know, because it was cool. There was a part where I could not walk that straight. And I wasn't driving. So I didn't have to try to drive straight. I didn't even rent a car. I just used public transpo. It was fun. I just lifted around. You meet so many people like that. That's how I met the majority of people, and people start telling me about like how long they've been there, just like their stories, and then Braun's in the back seat the whole time, so he's getting like all these different perspectives. We're both getting all these different perspectives, even in the middle of the night. And yeah, so I get home at like 3:15 in the morning that morning. That was my all-nighter in Minneapolis. That was nothing compared to the Vegas one. That was like really light compared to the Vegas one. Vegas is Vegas. That place, I don't know if you guys have checked it out. It's known as Sin City, and I think that's because it's like these desires come up, and you can just get any of your desires met like really easily. It's just like, if you got the money, apparently, that's why it's called Sin City. See, it's like it's all this man-made, pay money for these different desires. So we had fun hanging out with all the gamblers, drinkers. At one point, I took Braun and two of his cousins to a place called Liquor Up. Spelled Licker, right in downtown Las Vegas. The boys liked what was on the menu. They have the menu like right down on the ground level, and they liked what's on the menu. So we go in there, and it's like these scantily clad waitresses. They got big boobs out and their little tiny shorts and stuff like that. Bad food, really bad. But the boys were cracking up, and they had a great time. They one of them thought that kids weren't allowed after 9 o'clock. It was early for us, but kids weren't allowed after 9 o'clock because they strip in there. So then I just asked the waitress, and she's like, no, we don't strip in here. It's funny, the perception that the little boys get. Oh, what are they? These are like 13, 14-year-old boys. I'm like, they do? You think the waitresses just take all their clothes off right here and keep on serving food? Well, yeah. Well, how do you know that? Because I live here. And I go, oh, okay. Well, let's ask her about that. She loved it. They're so sweet to the boys too. They gave me, I ordered wine, it came in a wine glass like this big. It was like maybe three glasses of wine. Took one sip of that shit, and I'm like, okay, that's not going down that. But just seeing how there's an attempt to keep kids away from stuff too, to keep kids away from like the culture. This is where these guys live. These kids live in this area. This is how we're relating in this area. So they're not used to like people bringing their kids up there, but kids are allowed. It is a place where kids are allowed. So they're just kind of like, they're really sweet. They're really sweet to us. You definitely get looks from people. Had three pubescent boys in there. But everyone's just having fun, laughing, and you know, not making it like a big deal, not making it like a shameful thing. And that's the thing, we tend to make things shameful. And even drinking too, I notice it's a real drinking culture, which, you know, it tends to go overboard for people only because of the shame factor. If you look at like, you know, like my family, they're always drinking with their meals and stuff like that. When you look at them always drinking with their meals and having fun and stuff like that, one of them, my mom's husband, who she has right now, he's drinking from the morning. Like, he's drinking beer from the morning. For him, it's not too much. He's, you know, he's having a good time the whole time. It's not turning into something that's too much. You know, it tends to get to where it's too much, or gets to be a problem for people when there's shame attached to anything. You know, the same thing with sexuality. It tends to be too much when there's shame attached to anything. And the too much, it, you know, it manifests as like an ill feeling. Oh, like, oh, I have to have this. Or, you know, some deviant stuff where you're, you know, you feel like you, oh, that wasn't enough. Now I need to like hurt someone or something like that. That all comes from shame. There's no shame in anything. That's the thing. So I got to experience a lot of people who are used to projecting shame onto themselves, and do it as a matter of a device too, just to be in the world, right? As a device to be in the world. Like, I must be shaming myself because I did it like this. The thing is, you didn't do it. That's what it comes down to. So we had a fun experience where we were getting ready to leave Minneapolis, and all of a sudden my daughter's fiance got really stressed because he felt like he didn't do what he needed to do to get our two families together, to get me and Ron to be meeting his family, his mom and all of his brothers and sisters and cousins and everything. He didn't do what he needed to do, and now the week was gone. That was the feeling that came over him, right? I found out about it the next day, when he was like, I have to set something up, and this is the day we're leaving. We're getting on a flight. Well, we have to leave in a cab around 7:30 to get on a flight. Okay. This is the day we're leaving, and he's having a party that day and inviting all of his family. He's cruising with us too. It's not just us leaving. Like, him, and the plan is for him and my daughter to cruise with us to Las Vegas from Minneapolis, right? So on the day we're leaving, he's making a party, you know, out of this feeling, out of this upset feeling. And, you know, it was just within myself, I was like, oh, you don't have to do anything like that. It's okay. I saw him, and he was just like, kind of like pale, sweaty, scattered here and there, making the stuff. You know, it just looked like it. Wow, he's really like putting himself, forcing, you know, it's like a forcing energy to make something, to make up for what he thought he didn't do the rest of the week. Okay. So it was lovely. I met his parents. They were wonderful. The husband loved blocking, so we were blocking. Everywhere I go, I'm blocking. And, well, my daughter has blocks at her house, so I was like, hey, have you heard of blocking? Because he was talking about how he used to be in karate and he used to kick really high, and now his leg doesn't come up that high. I'm like, hey, check this out, you know, because these grips, and it's like it clues your mind into how you're gripping stuff. So he was stoked, ridiculously stoked. So anyways, we're getting ready to leave, and I get the Uber and everything, Uber cab, Lyft cab, whatever. And all of a sudden, Kanat can't find his wallet. Right? So he's looking for his wallet, and he's like, well, I'll find my wallet and I'll meet you at the airport. So we get to the airport, and then him and Akea have a call, my daughter, and find out he's not going to make it on the flight because he can't find his wallet anywhere. So I noticed this sense with Akea, like, come over her, like a big, oh God, what a fucking idiot, all this other stuff, you know? And it's like, hey, here it is. Here's the opportunity. And it kept coming back to, this is the Son of God. You're not seeing him clearly. Whatever he seems to do is perfect for all of us. It's like, we need to feel that though. We need to allow ourselves to feel it. It's not just words. These are the kinds of things I share all the time. This is it. This is the moment. Okay. It seemed like, wow, he really screwed up. You really have to do that. There were other parts of the story too, like where he was running around trying to fix this dude's car to get some money, and it totally blew up into a big scene and made a big scene. And there's like this really intense energy going on. I'm noticing this intense energy, right? And so I'm just like, hey, let's just have a good time, whatever it is, whether he's here or not. Remember, whenever you think about him and think, oh, fuck that guy or anything like that, remember who he is. Remember, what you want to use it for is you want to use it for seeing through this misperception. Okay. So, I get the sense like, I'm feeling like it's going to be a lot calmer because we don't have this intensity. There's like an intense energy that seems to come with him. And I'm saying seems to come with him because I know it comes from me. So when I notice even the, thank goodness, I'm noticing that. I'm noticing that I'm making illusions. It doesn't really matter to me whether he's there or not. It's going to be the same because of what I'm using it for, because of what it's for. Okay. So we get to Las Vegas. Oh my goodness. It was so awesome. I was like, okay, time to drive because I'm going to Bullhead City, right? I get to Las Vegas around, I don't know, midnight. Okay. Midnight Las Vegas time. So, and then I rent a car. I rent a bitchin' ass car. It's a bitchin' car. It's like, what was it? It was a Chevy Traverse. It's like this big old, like new, dream of a ride. And just go, okay, we're upgrading. We're getting, middle of the night. I'm about ready to make a drive. We get all of our stuff in this. It was easy to get all of our stuff in here. It's like this big, huge thing. And drive for an hour and a half out to Bullhead City. First, I stopped at my sister's front door to pick up groceries because there's not good groceries out there. Bullhead City is just like in the desert. They got like retired people and meth people, basically. And they've got casinos on the other side of the river in Laughlin. So that's like their big draw is all these casinos. But casinos, man, they do not have good groceries or food out there. So I stopped, get some groceries, and then drive an hour and a half, arrive there around 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning or something like that to the rental house. My mom was like, how did you do it? How did you drive in the middle of this night without sleep and stuff like that? And I'm like, I just knew it was gonna be. I just knew it was gonna be. It was just like really easy, actually. I felt like wide awake driving through the desert in the middle of the night where it's like you barely see anything. And you know what? Bronny was up with me the whole time. He was giving me like tips and stuff from the back seat. Signs on the side of the road. We don't talk a lot. I'm thinking he's sleeping, and then all of a sudden he'll pipe up back there. Yeah. And then we're in this gorgeous house. It's a 3-bedroom house. And it's right there in Bullhead City, close to where my mom lives. And again, I was just looking for something close, whatever's close to where my mom was. And we check in there. We all got our own rooms, right? And then 2 days later, we don't hear from Knopf for a couple days. After that time at the airport where we found out he wasn't coming, we don't hear from him for days, right? Dude, 2 days later, he's like, yeah, I'm catching a flight right now to Vegas. Give me the address. I'll Uber out there. So he's out. Then he shows up. And we're like, oh, how fun. He gets to meet the family. This is freaking awesome. So he shows up. And it's like, there's kind of a little conversation with myself because, the house was kind of like chill vibes and stuff like that. And then all I've seen in Minnesota, when I was in Minnesota, is this really big energy. I didn't see that much of him. But when I saw him, there was like this really big, kind of like anxious, angry energy, like just blowing up a lot. And and on the phone frantically and cussing at the phone and cussing at other drivers when he's driving and stuff like that, and just like all of a sudden, God damn it, and stuff like that. So it's like there's a nervous system reaction to this stuff. I don't hold it against myself at all. It's fine. There's a nervous system reaction that I notice occur, and I certainly don't hold it against him too. I'm super happy to see him when he comes in anytime. So I noticed, like, when he first came, the same thing, like what I just expressed to you, this God damn it, whatever it was, I don't know, it was right inside the house, and I'm like, okay, and I gave that a smile. I just love it. I love it when I get any kind of nervous system reaction, actually, because I know what it's for. So it's really fun. So the next thing you know, he's like, hey, Hope, you want me to roll you a spliff? And I'm like, sure. He's always really sweet to me. And I tell him too, you're always so sweet to me. And he's like, well, how can I not be sweet to you? It's so nice. And I'm like, okay. And, I wasn't thinking about smoking a spliff, but I was like, hey, yeah, hang out with him, a little bit. So we go into the backyard, and he immediately picks up his phone, and he starts doing that thing on his phone where he's freaking out of his phone. He's gambling on his phone. So he's like tripping balls on his phone, right? His forehead's completely furrowed. He looks really, really stressed. And he's either winning or losing. He's like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, fuck, God damn it. I was like that the whole time, right? So I'm sitting there, and I'm just noticing the nervous system reaction that arises within me, right? And I'm allowing a calmness for that. And I'm looking at him, and I'm just adoring him, right? And I'm just like watching and looking, and I'm having my spliff, and I'm just relaxing. Did not take long at all. It was really just a couple of sections where I saw his forehead relax. I saw it relax. I could visibly perceive a relaxation in the forehead, visibly perceive a deepening of the breath. And then the next thing you know, the phone was down, and we were having a conversation. It's so interesting. And, sometimes it takes a little bit of looking at something, right? It's all coming from me. That's what I always come back to. So there's never something to hold against someone. You could see how this could go, like, why the fuck does my daughter have to, you can just like go off on stupidity for days, and just like, and even if you're trying to be nice, you're going to have a vibe about you that says, fuck you to people. And they're going to know. All right. So you can't just like try to be nice. You have to actually have that nice feeling for yourself. So, and then after that, I didn't notice any of that anymore. It was a trip. The whole vibe shifted, and we were hanging out a lot. We were going out to dinner together. We were in the car together. We were hanging out a whole bunch. At one point, he went through what seemed to be a sickness, almost like it seemed like some kind of a purification. We were at the restaurant, and there was this strange vibe. He had a strange vibe going on, and then he disappeared for a while. Turns out he was vomiting, and after that, there was a complete just like shift that lasted the whole time, where it was just like this really relaxed and chill, and not jumping like that. This mind was very jumpy, not the same as it was when I knew him here in Hawaii. It was like a totally different dude, a totally different vibe, almost as if it was a different spirit. It was very trippy, but it's almost like he came back. He came back through it. And then, he's talking about marrying my daughter and stuff. And I don't know, like I mentioned earlier, she might be married. I'll call and check it out. They were in Vegas, and they were talking about how it'd be so easy to get married right there in Vegas. So we'll see. Someone who exhibits that kind of energy automatically thinks that other people are judging them, and is expecting other people to be judging them. And it seems like it would be reasonable given the kinds of things they seem to do. So when he talked to me before he showed up a few days later in Bullhead City, Akea said, hey mom, it's Kana, he's on the phone. And I talked to him, and he said, yeah, think he said, I'm really pissed at myself right now or something like that, that I just fell asleep for 3 days. And I go, well, you know, being pissed at yourself is a habit, right? And he goes, yeah, I seem to have that habit a lot. And I go, you know, that guy you're pissed at, you know, that guy is the son of God, right? And he goes, oh, I better be a little bit nicer to him then. Huh? And I go, yeah, it's just an attack on yourself. You're never doing anything. That's the thing. That's how it gets set up like that. Or people get into these loops where they don't understand why they keep fucking up. Well, you want to look at it like you're fucking up. You're not looking at it like it's beneficial to everyone. If you want to look at it like you're fucking up, then you're going to keep on getting that kind of perception. If you're willing to see that it's actually only occurring, you're not making any of these decisions, and it's only occurring because that's exactly what's mutually beneficial for everyone involved. And that's how I look at it for myself. It's beneficial for me. This is not something I have to get through. This is not something I have to bear. This is not something I have to accept even. It's that it's beneficial for me right now. Only in this moment, it's a benefit for me because of how it's meant to be used. See, if I hold anything against something that I'm perceiving a body doing, I'm holding it against myself. Okay, I'm only projecting pain onto myself. And that projection of pain manifests as physical pain. Now, all of us are in a shitload of pain. A lot of us, most of us don't realize we're in it. Some of us don't realize we're in any pain. A lot of us only realize we're in the pain that we can identify, and a lot of it goes unidentified because it gets veiled. It's just veiled. So we're projecting these pain bodies, and it's like the pain itself, it's like it wants to live. So it's like these projections come out about like someone causing you some kind of pain, like having a guy in this nice peaceful place, and all of a sudden he's going, God damn it, and he's getting all stressed out, right? This arrogance about not seeing that as a blessing. How can that be a blessing? I wanted to have a nice peaceful time with my family, and now this is interjected here, right? How is that a blessing? That's the ego talking. It's all a blessing. So when you're willing to see that it's a blessing, you can use it like that. You use it to release yourself from pain. If I took it like this is a bad thing, and okay, I'm just going to try to be nice. That's how you have those family feuds. That's how you get into those family feuds, because you can't do it. You can't really do it. You have to actually be released from the pain. So there's a story, and at this point for me, it's really just a story. It does not have an emotional charge for me. There's a story that I was molested by my stepdad. One of the stepdads that I see when I go to visit my mom and my aunt and all those guys, he happens to be around. In fact, he happens to be living within my aunt's house. So I see him the last couple times I go there. I just automatically see him. In fact, I bought him dinner that one night. I bought people dinner. And people don't understand forgiveness. And that's one reason why it needs to be demonstrated over and over and over again. Right? So my mom again said she's really sorry. She can't believe that she let that kind of stuff go on and stuff like that. And I told my mom, nothing happened. Again, nothing happened. That's the thing. That's really the bottom line. I don't care if it seems like it happened, or I made a big deal about it before when I was younger or something like that. The fact of the matter is nothing happened. So all guilt that you're holding for this is irrelevant. It's not relevant. You didn't do anything, or you didn't allow anything to happen, because nothing happened. Let's say it like that. And my story, you could say my story, or if I don't even know if it's my story anymore, it doesn't have an emotional charge. Okay. It does not have an emotional charge for me. Was that she put me into that. She put me into that situation. When I told her about my uncle, the same dude's brother, when I was only 7 years old, having done something with me, she and my stepdad, the one who later molested me, were saying that I was full of shit, basically. I was just making it up. They were telling me I was just making it up, which now I'm saying I was making it all up. It's true. I was making it all up. But you see, the story makes it look like, oh, this is just not forgivable. And that's what my mom is getting from her point of view. And that's why she'll bring it up again, just to make sure. She knows, because she knows this from studying the Bible for 50 some years. She knows that there's no guilt. But it's like when she gets confirmation from me, there's freedom. So it's like as many times as she needs confirmation from me that she actually didn't do anything. That was the first great big healing that I had, was with my mom, because there was just this child in me, like, how could you do that to me, Mom? I loved you so much. And how could you do that to me, Mom? And with a really sad voice too. And the thing is, that is the means for me seeing through the world. That's why it's set up. That's why it's set up like that. It's not for me to keep on holding. I can keep on holding, and you know what? I can get more manifestations like that off my mom if I want. But because I don't project it forward. I have a lovely relationship with my mom. See, a lot of the times when we're talking about the ego's kind of forgiveness, it's like, yeah, you guys did that thing, but me, being as benevolent as I am, I'm going to forgive you, even though you really did that heinous shit to me, right? True forgiveness is that it didn't happen. I actually made it up. I wasn't seeing clearly. And I made myself not see clearly so that I can heal the mind. That's the only reason we make ourselves, to not see clearly, to see something that's not there. Okay. So apparently I wasn't in the room at the time. But once we got to Las Vegas, well, first of all, Kana was hanging around with my stepdad, the same one I was telling the stories about. And they were buddies. They were palling it up, everything like that. And then we get to Las Vegas, and my little brother tells Kana, oh, did you know that guy was molesting my sister when she was younger and stuff like that? And all of a sudden, Kana's like, what the fuck? He's like, he tells me later, he's like, good thing, lucky for him. I didn't know about that at the time, because if that had been the case, I would have beat his ass right there. And I'm like, oh, well, that's good to know. Okay, we don't have to get you into close proximity. So when I get that perception, I'm seeing an unhealed aspect of my mind. Like, he's still deserves some punishment. So I use that to demonstrate to my mind, because I notice when I hear him say something like that, I notice something in me that feels good about that. See, that's not love. Love doesn't feel good about punishment. The ego does. That's not love. There's something in me that's like, oh, I'm being protected by violence. I'm being protected from violence using violence. This is great. He loves me. That's so sweet. It is. He does love me. That is really sweet. Right? I'm like, oh yeah, I understand that. I was just, the way I related back to him, I was like, oh yeah, I understand that. He has a hard time with, hey, all of this is for laughter. He has a hard time with that. Like, there has to be some kind of consequence for what he seems to have done. And when does the consequence stop too? It's like, when do the consequences stop? Right? Probably never in a lot of people's minds for child molesters. That's why that's one of the ones that's near and dear to my heart. Because, That's the most, that seems like the biggest one that people use to say that they can't forgive. I can't forgive that. I'm not gonna do it. That's fine. You'll have lifetime after lifetime until you're willing to see that you just projected that and it's not really there. See, that need to hurt someone is just a projection of how you hurt yourself by the way you think. That need to harm, to do harm to someone. It doesn't have anything to do with the idea of what they seem to have done. That's meaningless. It only has to do with your own death wish, your guilty consciousness, the sense of dread that you hold. You try to project it outward like that, but all that does is perpetuate it for yourself. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. There's really nothing wrong with it. I know the sun's right on me. It feels good, but I think I should move that way to get my eyes out of it. Ah, it's okay. It looks weird as fuck. It's okay. It looks totally weird. So every time that comes up, I'm really glad about it. It doesn't matter how it comes up, you know. I related that to my husband. He's like, yeah, I'll tell you what, there's no way I'm going to be going to hang out with him. And I'm like, well, you don't need to, you know, you don't have a choice in it, actually. You know, so even the thought, well, I'm not going to hang out with a child molester. Really? Do you know? Not for sure. It's not for sure. Maybe you think. But, you know, lots of people like him before they find out he's a child molester. But the thing is, he is not that in the first place. It's not the truth. And that's you know, that's what I mean to demonstrate to my own mind. However that looks on the surface, it's fine with me. Whoever else is involved in that, that's fine with me. But, you know, it's like, I just love people because of who they are, because they're only showing me manifestations of my own mind. They're no different from me. They're showing me. Each of them is my teacher. It doesn't matter in what form they come. Each of them is my teacher. Okay. And if they're coming in a form of someone angry at a child molester, that's also my teacher. Watch the body reaction with that. Just watch that. So, you know, there's also the thing of they're not apologetic. That was one thing that Tony brought up to me. He's like, well, he's not even sorry. You know, well, he did come and apologize to me. And at the same time, I don't need an apology, because what would you be sorry for? You know, what I want, what makes my heart sing, is when you can see that you actually didn't do anything to be sorry for. You can not because of making up some other circumstances or anything. See it as it is. See it as an illusion that it is. And, you know, if it's something that that doesn't feel good to you, just in acknowledging that it doesn't feel good to me to do that to you. You know, I might talk to someone a certain way and realize, wow, that doesn't feel good to me to talk to you that way. And really, that's the same thing, because you're just playing an energy, right? And it's like, when we're not conscious of what energy is being played, because we're not feeling our own feelings, we can't tell what feels bad, right? We can't tell because we're focused on, let's say in the case of molestation, you're focused on a physical, visceral kind of pleasure that's going on and not noticing the emotional. See, if you're noticing the emotional and not hiding that from yourself, you're not going to be able to go through hurting a person, because it hurts. It hurts you to be hurt. Even if you hurt them, even, you know, you can't really hurt a person. That's one thing that's for sure. That's not really possible. This is like a dance. This is like a dance, an energetic thing. You don't enter into that dance unless you're hurting yourself. Either one. Victim and perpetrator roles are the same. It takes a dance. It takes these two characters to dance, right? Which is really just two energies at play. So if you're not hurting yourself, you can't get the perception of hurting another person, even on accident. I didn't get that when I was a kid, because my parents would actually teach that, 'cause that was part of our teaching. That was part of the, like, the biblical teachings that we were getting. I didn't get that as a kid, because I was just like, wow, if I hurt someone on accident, how could that be my fault? That's the way I would look at it. Fault, right? And that's the ego's way of looking at it. And that may even be the way that they taught it, right? Because they don't know any better. Um, it's not about fault. It's just that it's a clue that I'm hurting myself. If someone gets their feelings hurt, I feel it right away. If someone even gets their feelings hurt, I feel it right away, and I feel it with them. And that awareness automatically teaches the mind how to behave in a way that feels good. See how it goes right back to happiness again. That's your happiness, is interactions that feel good. And people don't realize when their interactions don't feel good, they think it's about the other person. It never is. They're not responsible for how that feels. They could be any way. They could be all cracked out and talking about crazy things, threatening things, whatever. Your happiness always depends on you. How do you be happy in a situation like that? Ask. How often do you ask how to be happy in a situation where it seems like you shouldn't be happy there, right? So you're opening up to it. I'm opening up to some sunshine right in my face. I'm sweating balls too, but I'm really happy about it. Apparently, I've been spending days in cold ass casinos. You know how cold they keep those fuckers? Dang. You go outside and you're like, 100-degree dry weather. Go inside, you're like, oh shit, is it 60 in here? What the heck is going on? It's just like being back to green nature, no air conditioning. No, well, except in my car. I definitely like air conditioning in my car. I'm not into sweating balls in the car for some reason. I don't know why. Get out all wet. Of course, I'm going to get off my chair all wet when I'm done with this. So I was having a conversation with my mom, and this might be helpful to some of you who, have conversations with family members, and you can sense the discomfort, you can sense the delusion in some story that they're telling, okay? So my mom is a grandma, obviously. I've got kids and lots of kids. She has one of my sister's daughters, and she's raising her. She's like 13 years old. And my mom was telling a story, relating it to me and my sister, the mother of the granddaughter that my mom's taking care of. And she was talking about how the child, my mom asked the child to do something, and the child said, no, I don't want to. And my mom went into this whole thing about how she's being disrespectful because she's not doing what my mom is asking her to do. And my mom relates a whole story about how, do you know how much I do for you and how much I put my life on hold for you? However that looks, big old long story. She's relating this to us. And she goes, I know you would think that this is wrong, like that to me. She just like blows me off like this with her hand. I know you would think that this is wrong, but this is the way I do it. And I'm like, okay, I see that. And so she keeps on talking, and my sister's like, good, I'm glad you taught her how to have some discipline and some respect, right? And so I could feel the uncomfortable sensation with the way my niece is being conditioned. My niece is basically being conditioned that she's supposed to act a certain way. And I know that when we're conditioned that we're supposed to act a certain way, this is how we cut off our connection to our source that tells us how to be. And kids might not be the best communicators. Like a 13-year-old might not be the best communicator. Who knows why she doesn't feel like being helpful in that moment? For me, it's like, who knows why they don't feel like being helpful? What I've always practiced, not always, but more recently with my kids, at least in the past, I don't know, 10 years or so, 8, I don't know, something like that. When they say no, I ask them, hey, would you do this for me? When they say no, I just say, okay. Don't say why. Why won't you help me? Do I have to do everything? or anything like that, right? It's like, no. Okay. So I'm feeling, and I don't know if I'm going to say anything. I don't feel like I need to say anything, but I'm feeling into this conversation. My mom goes on and on, relating it to both me and my sister about how great this is, the way, she's teaching this child to have respect and manners and be a helpful member of society. This seems very reasonable to people. Lots of people find this very reasonable. So I go, I just find myself speaking, and I just go, well, you know what I love about not requiring respect or help? You know what I love is just to watch them come up with it on their own, to watch them move into respect on their own, in their own time. I just love that. It just feels so good to me. I'm not saying that it's right or wrong, or the way you're doing it is right or wrong, but man, when I just watch them and I allow them to be their disrespectful self, they're building their ego. These kids are building their ego. I know they're doing that. Treat me whatever the way they want. Call me a bitch, whatever. Not want to help, all that stuff, and just let them explore and experience on their own. There's nothing more beautiful than that. It just makes me feel so happy. And my mom and my sister, they got that. They go, yeah, I can see that. The trust isn't there that it's going to come. And there's the sense and it says in the Bible, and I think it was probably put there by the people, the Roman government that wanted to control people, right? It says in the Bible, spare the rod and spoil the child. So all these thousands of years, who knows how many lifetimes, it's been commonly thought that you have to discipline your children and teach them respect. Right? But here's the thing. The kids don't learn like that. They learn by your example. Are you respectful toward them? Are you respectful when they don't want to do something? Right? Is your mind disciplined enough to see that they don't need you to control their lives? Right? Is your mind disciplined enough? That's the kind of discipline that's really meaningful. They don't need you to control them. What about when you know what is the right thing to do and you don't do that? And then you get disappointed in yourself. You don't have a choice in it. You don't know what the right thing. Look at it like this. Look at it like this every single time, because this is the truth. Whatever you seem to do or not do is the right thing every single time. And that really is the teaching. Whatever it is the right thing. Who are you to say that something else is the right thing? This is arrogance. You don't know. And then you get disappointed. That's a habit. If you're getting disappointed in yourself, you're listening to the ego. You're being deceived. You're not getting disappointed in yourself. You're disappointed as a habit. Okay, you're not something that you can get disappointed in. Disappointment is your habit. You walk with a girl and someone starts to bit and wrap her, and you are a guy, you know that you have to do something, but you are afraid and you do nothing. Okay, you don't have to do anything. That's not it. That's not it. You may be driven to do something and find yourself doing something, but you don't have to, and you don't really do anything. So that's just being hard on yourselves. Those kinds of questions are just about being hard on yourself. That's all. It's just, that's how the illusion's set up, though. Some guys are pussies. Okay, that's how the illusion is set up. Some guys are pussies. Some guys are the equalizers. Not one is better than the other. That's just the way it goes. If you happen to be in a situation and you don't have one of those equalizer guys, instead you got a pussy guy with you and you get raped, that is equally beneficial for everyone involved. That's just all there is to it. It's equally beneficial for everything involved. Nothing can go wrong. It's our idea that things can go wrong that is making more illusions Okay. No one should have to go through rape. No one should. It's a terrible experience. No one should have to go through that. Okay. And making it real is making more instances of it. So if you find yourself in the situation, or you find yourself perceiving a situation, to remind yourself that it's equally beneficial for everyone involved. Actually, that's healing the energy that's making rape a possibility in our perception. So that's the goal with everything. That's the total goal with everything. I realize he's trying to rape her, I think is what she's saying, but it says rap. We had something like that here recently, and my son related to me. My son Blaze, my big boy, is 20 years old, almost 21. He was kind of shaken by whatever went on here while we were gone on the island. There was an Amber Alert. I guess it was the first Amber Alert ever on the island. And apparently a girl was kidnapped over a 24-hour period and, probably raped. Who knows what's going on? Definitely made to smoke meth. The boyfriend was tied up. So here we go with one of the, either he was a pussy or he just wasn't able to do it, whatever. The boyfriend's tied up and he gets found first. And then the girl ends up getting found after 24 hours. And my son was having a really hard time with it. He's like, man, that's like horror movie type stuff, and I just gave him a hug and gave him some love and, let him know that, hey, this is the way the world is set up. It's up to us to forgive these things, not become fearful about them, but to forgive these things. And, if you're able to go to forgiveness and you're in a situation like that, no one's going to be able to harm you. You're able to go to it. If you're able to go to forgiveness, not possible for anyone to harm you. So look, what's more important then than going to forgiveness and practicing it all day long? So in the event you find yourself in a situation like that, you can use that to demonstrate to your mind that only love is real and you're perfectly safe. And, I've seen that energy because I just happen to have situations where I find myself in kind of like sketchy things, right? And just being able to use that to look through it, because it's like everything is so changeful. Would you be willing to look through it instead of going on, oh my gosh, I'm in danger? Well, as soon as you get the sense, oh my gosh, I'm in danger, you have listened to the ego. You are not in danger. Okay. So when you get that sense, notice how you feel. Let's say an energies take over people. That's a thing. Energies take over people, but that energy is always coming from you and you have dominion over it. Okay. So people get possessed by certain energies, right? That's how it goes. I'll notice a person seeming possessed by a certain energy, and I'll make it my goal to see through it. Not to take it on some tangent, try to get away from it, try to figure it out, all that bullshit. But my goal is to actually see through that energy. And sometimes it's more tricky and sometimes it's easier, it seems, but that's always the goal. I'm not scared for my body because I know I can't really, what is this thing for? Again, I can't really lose it. It can't really be harmed. Right? So it's just going to be used for healing. If it seems to be harmed, that's what is equally beneficial for everyone involved, even if it seems to get harmed. So there's no problem. The thing is, we are looking at things as if they are problems, as if we have problems in the world, but we don't. We made ourselves into a problem, and that's the only problem we have. So hope that answers your question about what people should be doing. It all comes down to fear of death. Okay. And my daughter is always giving me a really good reflection of that. She definitely reflects the fear of death in a fun and dramatic way. Dramatic for sure. It's like, oh my God, there's this energy. My daughter looks like she's going through a transformation right now. I have experienced this too for a time, where there would just be an intense energy come up, and it's like, oh my God, so scary. I don't know what to do with that. But by the time that was coming up for me, I had already been through Vipassana. So I was like, wow, if I hadn't been through the Vipassana, this would be really scary right now, right? It seemed like a really scary thing. But I was just taking the waves as they would arise. So my daughter will get one of those waves. For us, it was sitting in a restaurant on the last day we were in Vegas before we're flying home to Hawaii. And we're in a really nice restaurant. You know, people are dressed up for this thing. Certainly the women are wearing heels, except us. Akea doesn't wear them either. She gave it a try. She realized walking around crippled is not her vibe. So she's back in her Converse. Anyways, she has this energy come over her sitting at the table to where she has to get down on the floor between me and Kana at the restaurant. She's just down on the floor and she's weepy and she's really going through it. She's got this, you know, big energy coming up. And I'm going, okay, Akea, what you're doing right now, this whole thing, this act right here, this is a device for getting attention. It's not bad. It's not really happening. There's nothing bad about it, but you're using it as a device to get attention. All you have to do is recognize that. You're still getting the comfort, like me and Kana are still comforting her and everything. And you know, she's sitting there for a little while. She starts to calm down. It's just, I'm like, it's just fear of death. It's the thing that everyone is going through this. You're just more aware of the patterns now. I'm not sure exactly what I said to her, but that's what it's like. It's like you're aware of the patterns now and they're coming up strong, and you don't have to do this. It doesn't have to be, well, you do have to do it because of that device to get attention. All these things that we seem to do on the surface, they're devices. Whenever we're not happy, see, whenever there's concern, worry, fear, we'll do things as devices to try to make ourselves feel better. All that doing, it can't happen without a certain mindset, being led by the ego to believe this fear is actually harming me. So if I'm believing this fear, this energy that's coming up is actually harmful to me, then I have to, oh my gosh, help me. But the thing is, you're going to be so happy when you see through the fear, but you're going to be so happy when you see that this world isn't real. It's only the fear of seeing that this world isn't real. That's death to the ego. That is the fear of death. It's seeing that this world isn't real. The people that you're going for, looking for comfort, they cannot really comfort you. All the comfort comes from within. And that is really scary for the ego, because it's like you're using this behavior as a device to get attention. And then that attention, that isn't even really where your comfort is coming from. It's coming from yourself. So it's like over and over again, this plays out until we see through it, and we could just take a wave without, oh my God, what's going on? And it's just a process. So it's like with everything, we can just be real easy with it. And, you know, this is not something I would normally say to most people because they can't take it. But my daughter, she can take it. And when she sees that, when she gets a load of that, it's like, oh, there's this intelligence behind it. There's an intelligence behind the idiots that we be. Okay. So when she's connected with that intelligence and she's watching herself go through this process now it's different. How many times a day do I use something to get attention? How many times a day do I use, I don't feel good, or I feel tired, or my back hurts, or whatever kind of physical malady I seem to be having, to get attention, to excuse me for not doing things? See? And there's no way you can stop that, but you just notice it. You look at it, you watch it. After a while, you stop going down those trajectories that think that this is helpful. See, it's like if you don't have a use for it, if you don't have to have a use for that backache, then you don't need a backache. If you don't have a use for that fear, you don't need it, right? You don't need that, but you have a use for it. that using it like that to get attention is a distraction from seeing that it is only fear and completely meaningless. It's a way to make it meaningful. I love to make fun of the things and comfort the person at the same time. It was really lovely because it's like she's getting comfort at the same time, but that's because she understands what I'm talking about too. You know, so she can get the comfort. It's like, hey, you're making this up and you're using this right now to get attention. While you're using it to get attention, you're projecting onto your body. And if you keep on doing that, you're going to project more and more and more until you make yourself seeming like you're crippled or something. Right? It's just the way it goes. It's like math, right? It just goes like that. But if you use it to see through it, it doesn't matter if what you're acting like. You could be acting like all drama and everything. If you're using even your acting like drama to see through it, then it's not going to have further effects. See, it's not going to make further effects. You can even use your own drama that way. You know why? Because you're before the consciousness that's playing this out. Knowing yourself as before the consciousness is playing it out, you can watch yourself use these mental devices to get attention and to distract yourself from what's really causing the pain and what's really causing the fear to arise. And you can do it with having no future effects, further effects, the same thing. Okay, there's no real future, but further, because it's projecting down the road. Okay, you don't have to project it. If you'll see, like in that moment, when she was willing to see that she's using this as a device for getting attention, she stops projecting. Your mind can't observe that or even be open to that and still be projecting. She stops projecting in that moment. She stops harming herself in that moment. And the more she's willing to see how she uses these devices, the more her mind's going to seem to mature. The mind matures. It gets mature in this understanding and doesn't see fit to, sees no reason to use these things as devices. Like, look, I'm harmed, right? Look at how I'm harmed. We tell stories about how we're harmed and how we need something. And, you know, the story is they both do that. It goes back and forth. One week, one of them's dying, and the next week, the next one's dying. So it just goes back and forth like that. And people do that with sickness all the time. The funniest ones, or one of the funniest ones, though, is my family being old and poor. They've always had the poor card. But now they got the old card too. I'm old and I'm poor. My mom, though, she's on it. She's doing block therapy, and she can get on the floor and do some things. And she's 72. And now, you know, she's noticing this flexibility and just feeding of the cells and stuff go in reverse age now, right? She's got her legs, she's spread her legs apart pretty far on the floor too. Whereas before, and the way most people, especially elder people, look at it, mostly elder people look at it this way. Once they get to a certain amount of reduced flexibility, they just automatically believe that it's downhill from there, right? And that's how my mom's sister believes like that. She's not getting down on the floor and doing anything. Forget about that. She's afraid she might not get back up. My mom's like, I want to be able to get back up. I'd go down the floor, mess around on the floor a little bit, right? And, you know, I just encourage them and let them know that they're not old. You're not really old. I sure feel old. Well, you know, you worked yourself into that situation through thought. You can work yourself the way back too. It's the same thing. No one has to feel old just because you're 80 or something. You don't have to feel old. That's not necessary. I mean, who knows? Someone who's 50 years old, they go, oh, I'm too old to stay out all night, right? Meanwhile, you know, my perception was just hilarious. So Oh, I had one wild night in Vegas. I'm going to go through this story and then I'm going to end. It's already 4:55, but I'm going to go through this story because it's just so fun. So one night in Vegas, after I took the 3 pubescent boys to liquor up, I, I ended up down on the gambling floor. And this was my one night of gambling. I didn't do any gambling before this. It wasn't appealing to me. That was my one night. I went down and we're looking for blackjack tables. We're looking for some blackjack tables with good odds. I love playing blackjack. It was just so fun sitting at that table with a bunch of people, and people think that that the money is real too. That's always fun. We end up in a different vibe. It's really fun. So we don't find it at our casino. So Kaya gets on her phone and she goes, "We got to go down to the Strip." And I'm like, "Oh no, I'm not going down to the Strip. That's not happening. We're in downtown. We're just going to stay in downtown." So Kaya keeps on asking me, and I'm like, "Okay, well, let's go down the Strip." You know, and her dude was like, "Why do you keep on asking her? She already said no." And she's like, "Well, when my mom says no, it doesn't really mean no." So she keeps on asking me, "Aloha, Lori, yay." And I go, "Okay, fuck it, let's go down to the Strip," right? So we catch a lift to the Strip. We show up at the Aria because she read online that Aria has the best whatever tables, odds. We're looking for odds at blackjack tables, right? This is where we walk in there, look around. Nope, no good odds. We can see right away, what the fuck are we doing over here? So I stop. So we stop and go, "Oh, well, let's fuck around a little bit with some slots." So I go to this one slot thing. It's not really slots. It's like Keno or something. I don't know what it is. I put $20 in there. $20 just gone like that. It's just like gone. And I even like called an attendant over to tell me what happened, because I was like, was I supposed to do something or anything? No, that's just the way it goes. You put your $20 in there and this happened. Okay, $20 is gone. All right, cool. So then I go, I see another one. I'm like, "Oh, let's try this one." Put $20 in there. Same thing. $20 just gone. Okay, let's go back to the Strip. Let's go. Back to downtown and see if we can look at some other casinos down there, because we also heard the best odds were downtown. So we're leaving, and my daughter stops to talk to someone. Meanwhile, I get this sense of concern. Well, it could have something to do with 20, $40. I don't know. That's not really that much to me. But who knows? It could have been money related. I don't really remember. Sense of concern. All of a sudden, Akea stops, and I don't know, she's talking to someone, probably asking where the best odds are or something. And I look over and I'm like, I just want to pull a handle, because those other 2 slot machines that I didn't get to pull a handle. I saw the one-armed bandit, they didn't have those. So I pulled the handle, first spin, $3,000. I won $3,000. And then immediately it's like the thought occurs. First thought occurs to me, okay, what is the lesson here? And I'm like, concern. It shows me concern. Totally. I talked about this at the beginning. The next thought that comes up is accounting for what the $3,000 covered during the trip. This thousand, oh, that covered these 3,000. Immediately I recognize, okay, there goes the ego, making money real. See the little tricks, notice the little ways. I love it. I think it's so much fun. I think it's so much fun that it's just like automatically, this automatic calculation. Oh, that paid for that, and that. Cool. It's like none of that stuff required any money in the first place, right? So it's just acknowledging that. That's all. It's fun. It's really fun. I recommend it. So we leave there. I get my $3,000, leave there, go back down to the Strip, or go back down to downtown. Finally, we find tables with good odds. I think it's because it's late now. I'm not sure. But we find this, what we're looking for, 3-2 odds on blackjack. So blackjack could be exciting. It's not really exciting when the odds are 6-5, or the payout 6-5, right? You want a 3-2 payout. It's kind of like no payout otherwise. It's not even exciting to get a blackjack like that. So we go back over there, we sit down, we play. I take out $400 for gambling. That's how much I like to take out, because the hands are $11 a hand, and I like to get wild sometimes too, right? We're having a great time. You know, I don't know. I probably like broke even on that one or something. Then we're hungry. It's like 3 in the morning, 2:30 in the morning. We're hungry, right? We walk down the strip. You guys are not on the strip, downtown Las Vegas. This place, in case you've ever been there, in case you haven't been there, it is really, really extravagant. It is lit up. The ceiling is lit up with something that's dancing to the music even that's playing. It's like really like visually everything. It's like so going off. So we go out there. The place is dead at this time. There's barely anyone there. Everything's closed. The lights are still there. Everything's closed. But like when, I don't know, this time in the morning, 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning on a Tuesday. Oh, okay, let's find some food. We're looking around for some food. At first, we see Denny's. Denny's is open. Well, let's pass that one by. That's some shitty food. We're looking for some good food. We find no good food. Then we're like, okay, we settle for Denny's then. Go up there. They're closing the doors. You can't even get in. We're like, okay, we're in Las Vegas. There's got to be some good food here. So we got in a cab and we asked the cab driver, we're like, we don't even care about spending money. We just want some good food right now. So he goes, oh, I know just where you need to go. I know just the place. He takes us over to the Venetian. Okay. He's like, they have a cafe in there. It's open 24 hours and it's really good. He was not kidding. This was like some of the best food in the middle of the night. I even got a mocha. I usually don't drink these things. I don't even drink caffeine on the regular, but there was something about having a mocha with my omelet. I think I got an omelet. Get this mocha. It's the best freaking mocha. It's like this place, they just know what's up. It's the best. It's not like Starbucks bullshit. Like they have their flavors down. Like the flavors are just like there. Fresh whipped cream that they just made. Some kind of nutmeg or something sprinkled. Oh gosh. It was like love making this thing. It was like, oh. So I'm up. Right? I'm thinking, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna just eat this. We're gonna get in a cab and I'm gonna go to bed. By this time it's 3:30 in the morning, right? We're just gonna go to bed. Nope. We walk through the casino. All of a sudden, there's a second wind. I'm not going to bed. I'm not going to bed. Akea is the same. She's like, I'm not going to bed either. I'm gonna gamble some more. Yeah, I still have like whatever out of that $400 that I came here to gamble with. Still want to gamble with that stuff. So we see Kana and he looks like he's ready to go to bed. We see him across the casino, right? He looks like he's totally ready to go to bed. We lose track of him. We don't know where he is. We're walking up and down the casino. Guys are tripping out, looking at us like they're on a slot machine and we're like, whoa, we must be the only chicks around right now. What the hell? We're in Vegas. It's not like it used to be. It's not like it was when I remember it. You know, that 24-hour thing. No, it's barely like that anymore. All of a sudden, we're the only chicks, and all the dudes are like, boo. All the models went home. So she's like, we got to find Kana. And I'm like, no, we don't need to find him. He's fine. He probably went home. No, he wouldn't. He wouldn't go home. He wouldn't leave me. And I was like, I bet you he did. Not really home, but back to the casino hotel room, right? So I go, okay, well, I'm going to go outside because the place is freaking cold. I'm going to be outside. You can look around for him if you want. So I asked the dudes out there, I'm like, hey, did you see a guy with long hair, tattooed from his neck all the way down to his toes, wearing a pink shirt come out here and get in a cab? No, we didn't see anyone like that. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I waited a few minutes. I'm like, hey, you guys, did you see anyone come out here going to the Golden Nugget? And he goes, yeah, there was a guy with flip-flops on going to the Golden Nugget. How often does that happen? Well, never. And I'm like, oh, that's him. Like they didn't get the first description. The dude's got tats up to his neck and then all the way down to his toes. Like maybe that's what made him notice that he had flip-flops on. I don't know. And he's wearing a pink shirt. But no, what was weird to this guy was that the guy had flip-flops on with pants. That was the part that and that he was going to the Golden Nugget. That's also something that stood out, because it's not common to go from the Venetian to the Golden Nugget. What I found out is that Golden Nugget compared to the Venetian is slumming it hard, even though the Golden Nugget is pretty damn nice. I mean, casino wise, right? It's pretty fancy, but it's like, no. And then I noticed as we're getting the cab ride back from the Aria to, or wherever we were, the Venetian to the Golden Nugget, one of their letters was out, where it lights up. I'm like, oh, there's a clue. There's different neighborhoods here. There's the clue for you. So we go back. Don't even talk to Kana. We're sure he's up there in his room, because there's no way another guy in flip-flops went from the Venetian to the Golden Nugget in the middle of the night. So we just stay down there and we just gamble. Oh, we were having so much fun. We just stayed at tables, just playing and having fun. I'm like getting to the point where I'm like, I'm like, okay, I'm getting tired, but then I'll like have another drink. That's the thing. I'm like drinking the whole time too. I'm drinking like vodkas and screwdriver. That's what it is. Vodkas and orange juice. And then finally I run out of money. I'm like, it's so funny. It was like, I didn't want to go, but I wasn't out of money yet. Right. So I'm like, start tipping the cocktail waitresses or tipping, because you actually don't run out of money that fast unless you're doing wild stuff. So then I started doing more wild stuff. If I didn't, I would probably just stay there. I don't know. It's just so much fun. So finally I run completely out of money. That $400 that I was aiming to gamble with, which I did. And then I went back to my room. Finally, it's 9 a.m. It's 9 a.m. when I get back to my room. You know what I do when I get back to my room? Can anyone guess? What I do when I get back to my room? We'll see if you guys know me very well. I blocked. I went straight into the lower back where it seemed like there might have been a little bit of tension. And I laid around on a block for like an hour and a half. And then I took a bath. And, it's like none of this stuff is meaningful at all. It doesn't matter, because it's all forgiveness. That's all it ever is. It doesn't matter what you get a perception of yourself doing. And you know what the other thing is? The sense of being tired, that just arises and passes. It's not even a thing. I saw it arise up and pass away a bunch of different times, right? Then I took a bath for a while. And then after that, I took my son back to that same restaurant where I was eating at like 3 a.m. because it was really good food. He had to try it. This time, it was still really good food, but boy, was it a different vibe. That place is fucking full during the day. There's a wait. There's people everywhere. There's mobs of people. I mean, when we were in there at 3 o'clock in the morning, and that is the best time to do Vegas, in my opinion. Everyone's just there to serve you. They're still open. At this time, it was a completely different vibe, but still, no problem. Go back, sleep for like 3 hours. And then somewhere in there, I was making all kinds of reservations too. I don't know where that was, where I put that in the day. But apparently, we had reservations. I woke up at like 5 and got ready for a show. We went to see Cirque du Soleil. I bought the tickets to it. Cirque du Soleil, for all 4 of us in the Golden Circle, what they call the Golden Circle. So we had a really good view, really awesome show. I've been to one of those before, and I'll tell you what, those acrobatics are just like, whoa, it's quite the show. We did that, and then we went and had dinner, and then we got on a plane. It was amazing. I was like set up really perfectly so that by the time I get on the plane, also right before I went in the cab to go on the plane, Kana, of course, rolls a spliff. 11:30, we catch a cab. We're like barely rolling in there. It's okay. Everyone, everyone's helping me get my stuff out of my hotel room. We didn't even need a bellhop or anything. We're all just doing it and get in the cab and roll into the airport in the middle of the night. And everything was so freaking chill. There's barely anyone else there, right? I roll up, go to Hawaiian Airlines, pass by the line and everything, and just go right up to the front to first class line. And the lady goes, normally you're supposed to do this through self-serve kiosk, but since there's no one here, I'll just take care of you. And I'm like, oh, thanks. Then we go over to where we get screened in, right? And when I get screened in, I let them pat me down. I ask them to pat me down so I don't go through so I don't go through any radiation. Okay. Do I mind if I go through radiation? No, not really. And then on the other hand, I love getting pat down. It's kind of like an energy clearing. It's really nice. The whole 2 weeks, I certainly hadn't been touched like that, except over there at those security checkpoints. They touch everything. And it's a light touch. It's a really light, beautiful. So I go in there, it's a Hawaiian woman, right? And the Hawaiian Airlines, and I don't know, they have lots of Hawaiians in Vegas. So it's a Hawaiian woman. And I go, I'd like to get the pat down. She's like, you want a pat down? Kind of like that. And I'm like, yes, please. And she's like, oh, okay. And she was just like so nice. It was so sweet. And everything was like so smooth going into the airport. I mean, I'm just like really chill. I've had like the biggest, got back into my room at 9 a.m, had like 3 hours of sleep in there somewhere, partying, having fun. I'm like rolling in, just like also spliff, just like completely chilled out. And it was just like that. It was just like totally, everyone was like so nice and just like really chill. It was like white glove treatment in the middle of the night, and nothing to get concerned about. That's right. And noticing how all those times where it seems like they're pushing you through, here's a really good time to practice, because I was practicing this the other times too, where it was busy and they seem to be pushing you through. Notice how the tendency to go along with that energy, like a hurried energy, and not just kick back. We never have to be like that, even if it seems busy. That's what I noticed. Like the other times I was going on the plane, it was a real hurried vibe. Okay, it's your turn. And I'm like, let me see how I'm reacting to this. How am I reacting to this? And when I'm noticing how I'm reacting to this, I can see the nervous system kind of like pop up like that. It's not something to make myself wrong or try to be different or anything, but just in seeing the nervous system reaction to the vibration. And in seeing that, it's automatically calming. It automatically lets you to calm down. And people's vibe will change with you too, when you're just willing to be in a relaxed, calm state of mind. So it was kind of like, it seemed like kind of like a fun reward. Block, you knew it, Lori, that was blocking. Good for you. It seemed to be kind of like a fun reward for the other times going through where it was like a really busy situation, that, oh, now it's just like no busyness at all. Everyone's treating you really, really nice. Just helping you out, even on the plane. Everyone's like chill. I'll tell you what, once I hit the seat on the plane, I just fell asleep before we even took off. Like it had these little head things that come around like this. And I didn't even have my seat reclined yet, because you're not allowed to recline it. I was just out, just completely knocked out. Pretty much slept my way all the way back to Hawaii. I wake up and the screen with where the plane is right in front of me. I'm like, oh, we're almost there. That was the most relaxing plane ride I ever had. That was amazing. Yeah. Just noticing how everything is such a vibration, and noticing going through all these different phases and waves. And it was very busy. We went from place to place. Every day was packed with some busyness. And also every day was packed with, okay, practice, always practice. I had a Course in Miracles going. every day with reminders. Every hour it would make like these magical chimes, and everyone would go, what is that? And it's like, oh, that's a reminder, whatever the reminder of the day is. Only God's will exists, for instance, whatever the reminder for the day is. Having those little thoughts to just put into the situation, and being reminded of the thoughts to put into the situation, it just allows your mind to be chill. That way we don't have drama with family. We don't get into drama. We don't feel like we need to get into the mix and drama with anyone, because we can't help that. We actually can't make a choice to not go into drama with people. Even like people on the streets. I met one guy when I was getting a ride, Lyft. And wow, did he give me a great forgiveness opportunity. I got into his car and he was on a business call, and you could tell he was really stressed on that business call. So he's driving us while he's on this stressful business call. Oh my goodness, my mind was just doing flips about how this was terrible, how rude this is, and all this other stuff. And I was like, wow, Lord, please help me, because I was going into it, I was really getting into it, but enjoying it too at the same time, that I, and appreciating that I know what it is, also appreciating that I know what this is. So the car comes to a stop, and he happens to get off the phone the same time the car comes to a stop. And I find myself saying, do you always get on personal telephone calls when people are in your car? And he's like, oh man, I'm so sorry that I did that. And I said, well, I'm not mad at you or anything. I'm just really curious. He's like, I can see that you're not mad at me right now. I can tell that you're not mad at me. And he was like really open for it. He's like, kind of like, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what I should do. That call was so important and you were coming. And I go, okay, well, here's something that you can do. You can let the person know that you got something else came up and you're not going to pick them up. Because for the most part, getting into a car with someone in a heated conversation like that isn't really what we want to do when we're on vacation and we're getting into a Lyft car. And it seems like it's really rude. And he's like, oh, thank you. He's like, thank you so much. He's like, I knew there was some kind of solution. I just didn't know what the solution was. Right. So it's like the dude's open to the solution. Right. And I don't know what's going to come. I don't know what's going to express here. I have no idea. All I'm doing is I'm willing to see it as it is and not as I made it. I could have just not said anything. He told me, thank you for saying something, because then I know what's going on. I know what kind of experience my passenger is having. It's not like you just left all mad and then you're going to go be mad, maybe leave a bad review, maybe something like that. But he's like, thanks for telling me. And it's like, oh, that's the reason that it came out, because he was receptive to it. That's why it came out. Because even for me, like even speaking it, it's such nonsense. I don't give a fuck. Right. But that's what it's for. It's just for whatever it is, it's perfect. So when it's coming out of my mouth, I know that it's perfect too. Even if it's nonsense. It's like, oh, thanks for letting me know that. Oh, now I see a different solution that I could have. I don't have to drive around in a heated conversation, stressful conversation. That even compounds more stress on it for him. Now he's in a stressful conversation and he's trying to follow these directions to where we're going. And he's concerned about us in the back seat. It's like, dude, you don't actually have to take that ride. And I was wondering where he was, because it said he was there on the app and nowhere in sight. He was hiding around the corner, hoping to finish this conversation. Oh, well, there's something on your app where you could say, never mind, something else came up. There's another one right around the corner. It's okay. We don't need the ride that bad. So yeah, fun all around. Very awakening. There's lots more stories. Tony just brought me some pineapple, or what is this? Watermelon. Oh my God, that's so good. There's going to be lots more stories. I know it. They just come out whenever they do. I'm going to see if Anne wants to block right now. And I'll be back tomorrow, actually. Tomorrow. Okay. If you don't know where the link is, either go to my Telegram, Awakening with Hope. Maybe I'll put it right here. Tomorrow at 2 instead of 3. So an hour earlier than normal. I'm going to be on a show called Moment to Moment with Linda Hope. Okay. Go check it out if you feel so inspired. Also, I'm going to give you a link where you can actually join me, kind of like you're joining now on Zoom. If you're joining on Zoom, only you're actually joining on this radio show. Let me grab that link. Wisdom Dialogues online. That's where I post a lot of stuff on Wisdom Dialogues online. Also Telegram, posting it there. I tried to do an invitation for you guys. Let's see, grab this. That's my Zoom. I try to do an invitation for you guys and invite a bunch of people on that invitation. But Facebook does not like Hope Johnson or something, because they are not allowing me to invite anyone, not even like anyone. So I'm typing here, I'm typing this to everyone. This is the link. You can grab it and copy it and save it for tomorrow. I'll be on there starting at 2. It's 2 to 3. You can come on. We're going to have a conversation, me and Linda Hope, and you're going to be able to ask me questions live. I'll be on a radio channel, and Anne's going to join me probably. She said she's going to join me. She's usually here. So we'll be doing that, and we'll be back again next Monday. Still waiting on confirmation about Wisdom Dialogues in person. I don't know if we are ready to go over there at the trading post. That's Bob and Chitta. It looks like I still got Bob with me. Bob and Chitta will be telling me if, when, where, what's going on. Will it be recorded to watch later? Yes, it will. It'll be on YouTube, and I'll post the link for it after it happens probably. So let's see, I got more Q&As. No, you guys are done doing Q&As. The chat, I don't know what happened there. There wasn't much of a chat today, but you guys were fun anyways. Yeah. Chat. Oh, Phoebes. Yay. There's a chat. Thank you, Phoebes. I love you. All right, tomorrow, next Monday, maybe some other stuff I love to share with you. Thank you. Some of you have been giving me some feedback and telling me how much you enjoy it. One guy was giving me some feedback, telling me that he hates my laugh and he wishes I would be more respectful and not laugh like that. And so I just let him know that I enjoy my laugh. And that's just how it is. So yay, everyone. I love you so much. Thank you so much for joining. And until next time, mahalo, aloha, and a hui ho.